I had to take a deep breath for you all because I am sharing one of the most horrific, evil, hurtful, heartbreaking, unbelievable assaults I've heard yet. This is a story about a young 5-year-old girl and children under the age of 10 that are accused of assaulting this 5-year-old baby. I want to first say this, that especially for those that are not aware, children that are hurt children. They hurt each other. A lot of times because it's misplaced. They haven't, received the help that they so desperately need after being hurt, whether it's mental, physically, aid, whatever. They have not received the proper professional help that they need. In fact, the CAC in 2022 showed that 16% of alleged abusers were children themselves. 16%. So that gives you an idea. So it may not happen often, but often enough. In fact, WHO, World Health Organization, suggested that 1 billion children aged 2 to 17 have experienced physical, SA, or emotional violence or neglect in the past year. That's 1 billion children. So, just to give you some idea or some clarity of what I'm getting into. And this is very heartbreaking and painful for me. So I am going to try to compose myself while going through this horrific and painful story about this 5-year-old baby. So without further ado, let's get into this news report. Let's go.
A mother wanting justice. She says her 5-year-old daughter was beaten, abused, and traumatized. I'm Katie Houston.
And I'm Damon Maloney. We first learned about this after receiving multiple phone calls and emails about a Facebook post detailing the violent attack.
News 5's Nadine Abusada sat down with that mother who wants everyone, Nadine, to know what happened to her daughter.
Katie, Damon, we want to warn those that are watching that what you're about to hear and see may be graphic and disturbing as a mother demands answers and justice for her daughter. She a mini you.
Yeah, she literally will crack you up. Like, she's so proper, the way she talks, everything about her is just like bubbly.
When talking about her 5-year-old daughter, and Tavia Kennebrew lights up.
She is very, very affectionate.
But sadly, that joyful spirit
It was horrible.
is broken.
The bubbly 5-year-old, she was not there no more.
We're not naming the child or showing her face because she is a minor. But this horrific story begins on September 13th. And Tavia says she left her 5-year-old daughter at a family member's house. Then she got a call. Her daughter was missing. When she arrived, the little girl was already in an ambulance.
I could not recognize my daughter. Her hair was ripped out of her head. She had blood and bruises all over her.
Now, let's stop right here to take this in. Look at that babies that baby had. Look at her hair. They were so vicious. They were so vicious that she was viciously attacked. Why? We don't know. Not yet. The mother said she was very bubbly and, perhaps it was who knows what it was. But look at how viciously attacked this baby was. The rage, the evil. This was just pure evil. Pure evil. Pure evil. But let's get back into this story.
Her nails was filled in dirt and she was unresponsive.
Tavia says her daughter was taken to a wooded area where a group of children attacked her. The allegations, which include sexual assault, are too disturbing to share with you.
That is so evil. It's so evil.
News 5 reached out to Cleveland police regarding this incident.
What can you tell me about this investigation involving a 5-year-old allegedly being assaulted?
It is an active investigation that the Cleveland Division of Police is conducting at this time.
In a statement, the department confirmed that the Sex Crimes and Child Abuse Unit is actively investigating a case involving multiple children under the age of 10, both as victims and as suspects.
And we have to protect the rights that the victims have, just as well as the suspects in these cases.
And Tavia says her daughter spent about a week in the hospital. The moment she opened her eyes,
she was screaming. When she woke up, she said they killed me. She thought she was dead.
The memories came flooding back.
To hear your baby say that she dead, what? A 5-year-old shouldn't even know that word. Like,
how is she now?
She's struggling mentally and behaviorally. She say things that she never said before. More violent, more suicidal things.
She says now her focus is on just 2 things: making sure her daughter heals and getting justice.
You posted about it. Why? Why did you want to speak out regarding what happened to your daughter?
Because I needed justice for my daughter.
So when you say justice, what does that look like?
Everybody involved in the pain that was inflicted on my daughter, they get what they deserve.
As of now, no charges have been filed in this case, and Cleveland police reiterate that it is still under investigation. For Tavia,
Okay, I'm going to stop this here. How painful is this? Heartbreaking is this story. It is so traumatic. It is so truly traumatic. You heard them say that there were multiple children under the age of 10 that did this to a 5-year-old baby. Like, what in the world is going on in the culture, today's culture, that children have so much hatred, rage, full of evil in their hearts that they would do something like this? We need to get back to the basics. I don't know what else to say. We need to put prayer back in the school. We need to start somewhere. Parents need to be parents and not friends, with love, discipline, morals, values. It's just so heartbreaking that I'm truly speechless. The pure evil in this attack is unspeakable. And you heard the mother say that when her baby woke up, she thought she was she thought she was gone. She thought she was deleted. She woke up screaming. This baby will need so much professional counseling as the years go by. You heard what her mother said. She got to be. I cannot even believe, I would never, I just can't even wrap my head around this. The pain she felt, the fear she felt, the evil. And then you heard the officer say that they got to protect the victims as well as the victims as well as the suspect, which to me means that some of the children that were involved, they may have been forced to be and get engaged in this whole thing. Maybe it was an older child. Who know? No one knows. The investigation still goes on, but I'm just saying that maybe the victims, some children of those children, may have been victims of assault themselves, whether it was physically, mentally, verbally, whatever. And remember at the beginning what I said. Hurt children hurt other children. 16% in 2022 was in the statistics. And also remember that 1 billion between the age of 2 and 17 had been abused. So I'm so glad that this mother spoke out, not just to get justice for her baby, because she will indeed get that, because they are children. So children gonna talk, they're gonna tell on each other, but to also make those aware out there that just like to drop their children off to people, to their neighbors, whether it be people, family members, whatever. You got to be so mindful of who you allow to watch your children. You heard what the mother said. She dropped her off with a relative. And she may have trusted the relative, and the relative, had no part in this. However, you don't know how your relative or whatever may have allowed other people to come into their home. Like these children. You don't know, because children can look so innocent and all of this, but you never know what they may have went through or what they are going through. So you have to be very, very mindful, very careful of who you allow to keep your children. I didn't, as a mother, I did not allow my children to have sleepovers or go to sleepovers or whatever. I didn't allow that, because you never know what other children have been through. You never know. And if it's not the right type of supervision when they are having these sleepovers, you never know what happened. You also don't know if the person that is having the sleepover is very responsible, and if they are responsible, perhaps they have someone else in the house that they don't even suspect, or it's not a suspect of doing anything to children. And so that's why I didn't believe in that as a mother, as a sister, as an auntie, as a friend. No, I didn't believe in that. We have to be so careful, and we as parents, as I say, need to stop trying to be friends to our children and be parents. Love, discipline them, instill values in them. And you have to be a responsible parent to guide them, to guide your children. Remember, to train up a child in the way he should go, which means teaching him to seek God's wisdom and for his abilities and talent. So when he grow old, he will not depart from it. That's in Proverbs 22:6. I had to put some biblical to this story, because this is pure evil, pure, absolute evil. This baby, like I said, she woke up screaming. And remember, y'all, you know, or you should know, that Satan roars around, lurks around to see who he can devour. And he's very good at doing that. You have to pray day and night without ceasing. Cover your children in the full armor, yourself and your children, your babies, in the full armor of God each and every single day. And remember that we don't fight against flesh and blood. No, 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 no. We don't fight against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the power of this dark, dark world, and against spiritual forces of evil in high places. And also know that the adversary only comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Again, this baby will need counseling for the rest of her natural life, I believe. I pray that they will, find out who all the kids are so that they themselves can get the professional help that they desperately need. After going through all of that, that's a lot. I can't even imagine. Look at how they pull his baby hair out. It was vicious. It was fury. It was anger. I just can't wrap my head. It was full of rage. Evil, pure evil. Y'all remember, you have to be engaged with your children in conversations. Don't ask open-ended questions like, how was your day? And they just say fine and you just let it go. No, 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 no. What did you do today? Tell me about your day. What did you do? What did y'all do in class? What did y'all talk about? Never open-ended questions. Because how are you going to get to know what they truly been through in that day? So make sure you ask open and be very engaged in your children. And why does other kids hurt other kids or others? Because of lack of communications. They might not know how to communicate. Maybe that person that hurt them told them, if you hurt me or whatever. They may not have the social skills to let you know what happened or what went on. Frustration and anger. Maybe they experience overwhelming feelings of anger, sadness, or confusion in that intense emotion. Development skills, learn behavior. A lot of this that's going on in today's society with these kids are learned behavior. Children imitate aggressive behavior. They observe home in the media, TV and all of this stuff, social media. So it's learned behavior, or perhaps it happened to them. And then it happens to them. And then they, do that to another child. And, I've heard people say, well, why did you do that? You knew better. No, they don't. If someone does it to them and is not discussed or, discussed in a professional way, they just doing it because someone did it to them. The pain, the frustration, the anger. And that's what I saw in this situation. Underlining issues that we as parents must be engaged in our children's lives, and stop allowing people to just keep your children and you know nothing about them, or you just, I did a video, it might have been a year ago, of a 6-year-old. The mother he was a prophet. I think he was a prophet and a minister of a church. And he was the babysitter of her son. This is a single mother. And he actually blindsided this woman because she trusted him. She trusted him with her son, of course. And I guess at some point he was really good to her son. He taught him the things that, little boy should know and all of these things. But something happened at his church where he was either put on probation or kicked out of church. Can't remember the whole story. But when that happened, he just flipped out. And one day they were at the park and the 6-year-old wet his clothes. He wet himself. And the man got so furious that he made him do strenuous exercise. Got a 6-year-old. He did so much strenuous exercise that he passed out and died. And as the mother said, he totally blindsided her. And that's what I'm saying to you. That's why I'm sharing this story. Even if you have already seen this story, have you thought about all of these things that I'm suggesting and talking about today? If you haven't, please do so. But y'all, please talk to your children every day. Don't go without a day without talking with your children, being engaged. Take the time. Stop. Listen to them. Sometimes they are telling you things not in the way that you maybe think to hear it, but they are telling you things in their own ways. They may be even acting out in a different way. It's up to you as a parent, as a responsible parent, to see and hear that difference in maybe their voice and their actions. But please share your thoughts and your comments about this whole thing. I will follow up with this story to see what comes out of it, what happens, why it happened. But until the next time, I wish you nothing but peace and blessings, and be well. Take care of yourself and each other. Thanks for watching. Until the next video.